Hey everyone, this 2013 150 Prado has got 3-ton towing. So how's it got 3-ton towing? Because pretty sure that everybody thought these were 2.5-ton towing, same as the 120 Prado. Yep, it's a January 2013 KDJ 150R. And maybe I'm joking around a bit here, but just roll with me for a minute. So here we go. There's your tow bar, your trailer part number, tow bar part number, your maximum tow bar capacity, 3,000 kilos, and the ball load, 3,000 kilos. Now, if you didn't know already, this is the Xbar, which is made by Hayman Reese. Bada bing, bada boom. Hayman Reese have been making tow bars in Australia for bloody decades, many decades. I don't even know how long. You can do the research yourself. But if you've been watching the videos, we did an install on their Hayman Reese tow bar on our 2000 and what was that on? What did we put that on? The 2022 150 Prado, if I remember correctly. Didn't even bother putting a tow bar on the 2019. It was so gutless, but that's another story. So yeah, straight away, like when we come to talking about the power later, just know that we've done the tests and these 3 litres blow away the old 2.8. So the later one, we haven't really lined them up. We're not too sure. But what I can tell you for sure, if you've watched the videos, 2022 Prado, we fitted up the tow bar, the Hayman Reese tow bar, which was awesome. And it hides it down underneath, so you don't have all that gear hanging down like you do with the Toyota genuine tow bar. But this time I've gone for that Hayman Reese, the Xbar, right? So totally different. As you can see, really handy for full driver because you've got the recovery points there ready to go, so you don't have to start looking around and use tow balls and stuff like that. I've just put that back on. There's another reason for that. It's got nothing to do with this video other than I suppose it's good that it's there because it is a tow bar, right? So as you can see, I can tell you that it's much more heavy duty and stronger than the standard tow bar, and we can confirm because Hayman Reese engineers, Xbar, have put the 3,000 kilo label on it. So we know the tow bar is 100% completely capable of 3,000 kilos. Over to the 120 just for a moment to check the sticker. And as you can see, 2.5 ton and maximum download is always 10%, right? So no more than 10% is the download. It doesn't mean your download has to be 10%. You've really got to understand this stuff, so stay with me. Here it is, it's just a tow bar. It's got a recovery point hitch in it at the moment, the Sabre soft shackle receiver, which is beautiful, but that's not what this video is about. That's the genuine Toyota tow bar. This is the genuine Toyota vehicle. Toyota said 2.5 ton. It's Toyota's tow bar, so 2.5 ton is the limit, it is, and I would say, I would agree that that is really maxing things out. 150 Prado over here, which is the weight saving option, you know, no bull bar, blah, 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 trying to keep the weight down. You can see it's got the same 1KD FTV 3-litre diesel engine as the 120 Prado. No difference there. And this could be where the difference is. So let's talk about this. I want to give you a few factors about the 150 Prados from, they started in 2009 through to 2025. Pretty much in Australia, unless I got it wrong. The new 250 just came out. It's 2025. Maybe that came out in 24. So maybe 2024, whatever, right? So point is, around about 15 years of 150 Toyota Land Cruiser lc150 Prado in Australia. Personally, I don't really care if it's got the diesel or the V6 or whatever. We're going to talk about the car for a moment. The lc150, the Land Cruiser Prado 150. So whether it was 2009, 2015, 2020, or 2024, it's basically the same car. It's the same chassis. It's the same front wheel bearings. It's the same wheels, subject to different models, GX, GXL, Cakadoos, Altitudes, whatever might have some, you know, different models might have bigger wheels, but generally they've all got the same 17-inch wheels. They've got 265, 65, 17 tires. The vehicle's the same. It's the same. This is from the Prado specialist mechanic point of view. It's the same tyres, same wheels, same wheel bearings, same disc rotors, same brakes. Everything, all the running gear is the same. The diff's the same. There's no extra strength in the diff. The suspension components are the same. When you do aftermarket suspension in these cars, doesn't matter if it's a 2013 like this one or a 2023 like the 2022 one we had, it's exactly the same suspension components that go in there. So why is this one from Toyota 2.5 ton towing, but the new one, let's say with the 1GD, you can put in the comments what year they changed to 3-ton towing. Was that all part of the package in 2015? I'm not really sure, because I wouldn't touch one in 2015. And I said in 2019, I said, now we've got a 5-year warranty. I'm going to try one of these out. Do as I say, not as I do. Stick with the last of the best. But each to their own. You do what you do. You miss some of the videos. You think maybe that Anthony, he doesn't know what he's talking about, or, you know, whatever. So you do what you do. That's cool. I get it. You've got to make a decision based on the information you have at hand. Okay, cool. But the 1GD, I believe, got the 3-ton towing. Now, so let's be very clear here. The rest of the vehicle, other than more material, bulkier on the front, which you demonstrate, we've demonstrated that in other videos. The car will be a bit heavier, the 1GD. It's got a bit more gear on it. This is a GX, nice and light, even compared to a GX. With a 1GD, this will be lighter. You know, the 5-speed auto will be a little bit lighter. So a lot of the gear will be, so there'll be a few kilos saved in this vehicle, but not much. There won't be much difference. You're comparing pretty close to cheese and cheese, not chalk and cheese. What's the difference? Okay, so we've got an engine here in the older vehicle of the 2.5-ton towing that's just under 3 litre, 2.9, some high number. We'll call it a 3 litre. It's really close. And when the 3-ton towing came in, supposedly there was more power. So this engine, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, 127 kilowatts, 410 Newton meters of torque, and the 150 when it came out with the 1GD, 130 kilowatts supposedly, so 3 kilowatts. And when I drive the cars, I don't feel it. I feel these have got more power, but anyway, that's another story. And supposedly 450 Newton meters of torque in that 1GD, right? That's smaller, the 275 cc, so it's 2.7 and a half. It's closer to 2.7 and a half than 2.8, right? So it's a bit smaller than 2.8, but my point is, it is a smaller engine. You can feel that it's a smaller engine, but they gave it more towing. Now, obviously, it would seem obvious to me that the towing capacity shouldn't or doesn't have anything to do with engine power, because they're not worried about how fast you can go and if the engine can handle it or not, because obviously this engine being bigger, it's got a similar, let's just say similar power and torque output on the ground to a 2.8 with a 2755cc, right? Very similar. So what's the difference? Well, you know, they've made a mistake perhaps. You know, this should have been 3-ton towing all along, whatever. Maybe the tow bar they made and supplied for it was only 2.5 ton. But my point is, in my common sense opinion, not engineering, not official or anything like that, maybe I'm joking around, but as far as I'm concerned, this is 3-ton towing now, because it's the same car, but it's got a 3-ton tow bar on it. You get my drift? Now, I'm not telling you that you should go and tow 3-ton with a Prado or any Prado, even a 2024 Prado, which when they upgraded it in about 2020, exactly, about 2020, thereabouts, I call it the remap, because the biggest change was tuning. It's not, oh, this and that in the engine and this and that. It's not, all that's very minor. That's just talk, right? It's just talk to make you go, yes, I've got to upgrade. It's a remap, right? It's got a different turbo. It's got a bigger turbo, which created more lag. We've talked about that in videos, so that's a negative. The tuning's awesome, really awesome torque on the highway. If you're towing a caravan, that last 2020 up to 2024, whenever they finish in the 150s, the torque is actually really good, and it's going to hold speed well compared to this engine. Yep, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. This engine will do okay, but you're going to be back to fourth converter lock. You're going to be losing speed where that 1GD, I don't know if it's going to last, but you know, it's going to be creating some serious EGTs because it actually hauls ass. It's really, really good on the torque. There you go. I said it, mate. That's not swearing, is it? Ass, bit of ass. Anyway, right. 500 Newton meters. So they upgraded that one to 150 kilowatts and 500 Newton meters. Now, I've done a lot of videos, not a lot, a few videos, comparing driving both of them, because I had both of them. And I said the power off the mark, the 2009 was quicker off the mark, smaller turbo, less lag. But then once it got going, then I reckon the 2020 sort of picked up and got going, had a little bit more power there. But the power wasn't really noticeable. It's still a little undersized engine for the size of the car. These are absolute minimum a 3 litre in a lc150. It's a big truck, right? Anyway, big heavy truck. But you know what I'm trying to get at is engine power doesn't really matter, even though that 1GD, the later one, will be more suited to the towing because it'll hold speed a bit better. Like I said, it's got its own set of problems. We're not talking about that in the video. We're talking about this tow bar, right? Let's get around the other end. The tow bar. Now, if I was an engineer, I would quite obviously, for $200, whatever it cost me to do the paperwork, I wouldn't even need to look at the car. I could go, okay, well, we know these cars. We know that the later one's 3-ton towing officially from Toyota as it comes out of the box. We know this one was 2.5. We know it's the same car, and all the running gear, the mechanicals, the engineering, other than the engine and the transmission is the only things that are different, and they're not going to change towing capacity. It's got a 3-ton tow bar engineered by a reputable company, so this vehicle is now 3-ton towing. No further to do, no suspension upgrades or anything changes. It's not spending all this money, thousands of dollars on suspension and wasting money on engineering for thousands of dollars. It's just, oh, it's going to take me half an hour to do the paperwork, mate. $220, I'm going to do the paperwork, and boom, you got 3-ton towing. Now, I don't know if you need to get it engineered, because it's, well, like I said, rewind, it seems common sense to me that if you've got a same vehicle, remember what they said in the scamdemic? Anyway, the C word, you know, a few years ago, they said, use common sense. If you're not, use common sense. So I always like to use common sense, and I've got a bit of common sense, but it's a bit uncommon this sense. That's why I reckon subscribe, turn the bell on, and just get to know the way I roll, because it could help you out, right? But the point is, bang, there's the car, same car, 3-ton tow bar from, you know, Xbar, Heyman Reese, thank you very much. 3-ton towing, it says it on the sticker. Why would it be any different? Common sense says to me that makes sense, because the car's the same. The tow bar's engineered to 3-ton, away we go. Now, disclaimer, like I said, this is all unofficial. This is just me talking common sense. So you make your decisions. I reckon the bar's great. It's heavy duty. It's easy to fit. It's got the recovery points there. There's no doubt about it with these recovery points, what they can be used for. Just take the tow bar tongue out when you're not using it. Bada bing. What was the last thing I wanted to say about it? The last thing I want to say about it is this vehicle will tow 3-ton. Absolutely, this vehicle and this tow will tow 3-ton, just like a 2023 or 24 1GD. Okay, it's going to be a bit slower up the hills and all that sort of thing. But you've got a lot of weight behind. So this vehicle, GX Prado, just like a GX, what do they weigh when they're dry, when they're new? Maybe 2,200 kilos, 2,300. You know, chuck some fuel and water, fill up the wash bottle and jump in it yourself. You're up to 2,400 or something anyway. But let's just say, you know, 2.5-ton-ish vehicle, and you're going to put 3-ton on the back. Now, to me, that doesn't make sense. You want to look at the weight of the vehicle you're towing with. In my opinion, you always want to make sure that the towing vehicle's heavier than what you're towing. So if you've got a car that weighs 2,400 kilos, you've got it light, it's stock standard, you're in here on your own, and it's just got fuel in it, and you're going to tow even a 2.5-ton caravan, borderline crazy, 3-ton, a bit crazy. And if you want to really be safe, my recommendation is only tow about 2/3 of the capacity of the tow vehicle. So if this one's a bit different. So adding weight, let me just go a bit further, adding weight to the equation. So if we make this vehicle 0.5 ton heavier by putting a fridge and a storage system, heavy duty suspension, tow bar, a roller Titan roof tray up there on the ridge mount, and all this K-on storage shelves, and we put some gear in here, and up the front we put a bull bar and some batteries and some underbody protection, some bash plates and all this, and we add quite a bit of weight to the vehicle. On one hand, it makes it safer because it's got more control of what it's towing behind it. You want the vehicle in front to be heavier and in control of what's being towed behind it, right? But on the other hand, you've added 0.5 ton of weight that the brakes still need to be able to pull up. And I would say these Prado brakes, in my opinion, they're quite a decent sized disc rotor, front and rear. Front does most of your braking. These things will pull up all that weight at least once, because obviously your brakes get hot and that's where you're going to get fade. Don't sit on it all day. But if you need to do an emergency stop, it's going to pull things up quite well. And of course, it all comes down to your trailer brakes as well. You want to have your trailer brakes set up correctly. Your electric brakes, right? Because that's what it's all about. You add all that extra weight. You need to have your correct tow bar plug with your, you might have your Red Arc Tow Pro, whatever. And if that's all set up correctly and working right, then I would say you're pretty safe, right? But like I said, you've really got to think about these things. I'm not trying to push people to tow heavier things. It's crazy. If you want to tow something really heavy and you're going to do it short term, something like this might be a solution. Like if you've got a boat that weighs 3 ton, but you just go half an hour to the boat ramp, maybe this is the vehicle still for you, the Prado with the correct tow bar to keep it safe and reliable. Because with the wrong tow bar, and it's not rated to that, you could have issues anyway. I doubt it, but you could. but you've got a rated tow bar, you've got the vehicle for the job. But if you're going to go buy a 3-ton caravan, I wouldn't suggest using a 150 Prado of any sort, even with one of these tow bars, to be a long-term tow vehicle, as in traveling around Australia, open-ended sort of thing, unless you're going to travel nice and slow like a lot of people do. And you know, each to their own. If you're doing your 90-95 Ks, obviously that's safer than doing 120 with the caravan. Some people do, whatever. Anyway, I could just waffle all day. I hope you got some good information out of this. I think I've covered everything, what the point I'm trying to make. Roller, Xbar, bloody awesome. I like it, but I just wanted to let you know about the 3-ton towing thing. In case you're going, oh, I think I've got to upgrade my car because I need to tow. I've got a 2.7 ton, you know, caravan, or 2.8. A lot of people got 2.8 ton. Like I said, don't use the 150 to go around Australia in it. I'm just going to keep saying it again. I'm brainwashing you with the information, okay? Subscribe to their bell, you don't want to miss it, right? It's going to save you money. It's going to keep you safe and keep your vehicle reliable. Catch you on the next video. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. See ya.